the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV. Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obunga. Take Tuesday with Yusuf Farah.
800 million jobs will be lost to artificial intelligence.
Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursday with Mariam Mwacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on the round table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
عليكم حجة إلا الذين ظلموا منهم فلا تخشوهم واخشوني ولأتم نعمتي عليكم ولعلكم تهتدون كما أرسلنا فيكم رسولا منكم يتلو عليكم آياتنا ويزكيكم ويعلمكم الكتاب.
Watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In my hands are the Star, and the headline goes, Jubilee leaders attack Uhuru tax cheats war. That's the shouting headline on the Star. Of course, the sub-headlines we have, don't insert census boycott Matiang'i, tells politicians, Google app rules deny borrowers quick mobile loans. And of course, to the back page of the Star, we have back in the fold, Jesawere, the Zambian-based striker, called back by Francis Kimazi, who's just been appointed as Harambee Stars head coach. My name is Faisal Kasim and welcome to Sabah Shows. Of course, standing in for Aisha Khan as well this morning. And we'll be looking at what's making the headlines and some of the stories making it, of course, to the dailies. Excuse me. And starting with the Star, of course, with my amazing panelist. I don't know how it's going to be this morning inside the studio because just before we started this show, it was already heated debate, man. Three people that I don't know whether they've been on the set before, but this morning we're making history right here on Horizon TV. Gentlemen, karibuni sana. Oh, of course, these are household names that don't need introduction anymore. Yeah? Karibuni sana. So, Jubilee leaders attack Uhuru tax cheats. They feel that this war on tax evasion is targeting Uhuru staff. Of course, the story continues on page 2, where it says, tax war triggers uproar in Uhuru tough. I can go ahead and quote the third paragraph, say, Keroche is the only locally owned beer manufacturer and employs hundreds of people directly and indirectly. Immediately after the DPP issued arrest orders, Keroche directors tycoons from Mount Kenya region hurriedly convened at the Bovard Hotel to deliberate on the latest move. This comes after Humphrey Kariuki's arrests, release on bail, and another arrest, and right now they're all facing charges. Gentlemen, what's your take on that? We're looking at dynasties.
The story goes like in Uhuru stuff, there's been a lot of uproar. about the how is it going, the perceived war on tax cheats and that kind of a thing.
Yes.
But I always say you have to put it into context, the happenings that going on around, because there has been problems in KRA since time immemorial. Over the past three years, KRA has not been able to achieve its target. So the government is up to trying to collect as much money as it can to fund the budget. KRA is not able to achieve their targets.
Interesting. I just want to loop in Keegan. Keroche Breweries, around 43 billion. Looking at Africa Ryuki, again, approximately almost 50 billion. Again, where was KRA all along? Why now?
First of all, you know, it goes without saying that billionaires fund elections. And there are those who share in the sentiments that this might be a witch hunt to settle scores.
I guess these are just again, assumptions, eh?
We can't say that because you're an entrepreneur from home, and you've set up businesses, mashallah, successful, employing very many people, that when you are indicted with a tax evasion scam, we treat you with wine and roses, you know. That is unwarranted and justified. But let us hope that this is not a witch hunt, and I want to appeal to my fellow Kenyans that let us have faith in the institutions that we have and let the investigation take its course.
So let's hang in there in hope.
Not hanging.
We're hanging in there in
not
hope.
hanging.
We are hanging in there in hope.
I appeal to the DCI and to the DPP and to the EACC that let them do impartial and accurate investigations, and at the same time let us have faith in our institutions. And this word that is going around, people, everybody trying to put his or her own word on a matter that is in court might bring conflict because of everybody has an opinion.
The question I just asked was very categorical. Where was KRA all along? Where was Jiraini? I know you're banning. Just what's happening with the standard? You're holding the standard in your hand. So what's happening with the standard? What are you looking at the front page?
The splash is
the headline.
Yes. Uhuru dynasty hustler talk won't get you power. That is Uhuru saying.
Sorry. Kusaid, just hold the mic. The undisputed organizing secretary of MDF.
So Uhuru says dynasty hustler talk won't get you to power. That is the headline of the Standard. Yes. Dynasty hustler talk won't get you to power.
Interesting. Tell us more about that. Just a paragraph, maybe.
Of course, I believe Uhuru is a scared man. And that is why he said those things. And a very scared man. And by the
apologies for apologies for what's coming to your screen right now. That was yesterday's Standard. You're looking at today's Standard, and that's the splashing of the headline.
Yes,
the remarks that the President Uhuru Kenyatta made yesterday. So apologies to all of viewers back at home for that interruption. You're going to get the headline on your screen just now. Yeah.
So I'm saying he is scared, and he is not the only one who is scared. The Dynasty Alliance is scared because after handshake, there was a deliberate plan to form a Dynasty Alliance. He is not the first person to say these things.
Yes.
Raila Amolo Odinga said this. If you can remember in Karen.
Anglican Church.
Was it in Karen?
No.
When he said that
Anglican Church, just a couple of days ago.
Yeah. They are scared of one deputy president. And they are scared because this talk is gaining traction. Because people are viewing, there's a deliberate scheme by the people who have been in power since independence. And we are not saying it is a bad thing to rule if your father ruled or if your family member ruled. It has happened elsewhere.
Yes.
But how have these families been running this country? Have they benefited this country to an extent Kenyans feel that they can continue rewarding them? That is a question. And by the way, it seems they are scared. They don't want an outsider. And that is what they realized. We were talking with my friend about Miguna, who was exiled. And now he is in Canada.
Yes.
We were talking about Miguna. And if you look at the issue of Miguna was used by Raila Odinga. Then after Raila Odinga did away with him,
Interesting.
He did.
And funny enough, the Daily Nation headline, the splashing headline is almost similar.
It says that Uhuru, handshake not about dynasties. He further goes and says leadership is not about where you were born or where you came from. It is not about the color of your skin or your tribe. Leadership is the desire to serve, the desire to do good and make the difference in the lives of people. I agree with the president 100%.
I don't know whether we have that bite from the president of yesterday. Maybe we can play it later on.
And you know what happens? I very much agree with the president. But one thing that I've always said, this handshake should not be a handshake. Rather, it should be a hug. Because when we have a handshake, it is two personalities. It is me and you. And these personalities, they are not immortal. They'll move away out of the political space with time. Okay. What will we do? Because our ultimate goal in Kenya should be one thing, unity. Because the politics of tribe has divided us and has cost us a lot of things. Yes. So we should expand this thing, because we can't say that we have a handshake that is leading us into unity, and yet we have some people who are left outside. Let us make it a hug so that we bring everybody.
Of course, we'll be looking at that story in depth.
To help my friend, I'm a journalist student.
Yes.
I know there's something called agenda setting. Okay. If you look at these headlines, there's someone who is controlling somewhere these headlines. They want now we stop the talk of dynasty. Of course, it has implications.
Of course, we look at that story. We look at those stories in depth. We look at those stories. Would you mind just checking for us what's making to the back page of the Standard?
Arsenal's optimism faces stand tests.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a tough battle this weekend on Saturday. Yeah, Arsenal against Liverpool. What's happening on the back page of Daily Nation?
We have a teachers win promotions battle. The employer and the union set to retreat to iron out more issues affecting employees.
Interesting. That, of course, at last, good news to the teachers, yeah?
Absolutely.
And of course, what's shouting today on Taifa Leo, utaenda jela ukikataa sensor. This is, of course, after the review of Statistics Act of 2009. Statistics Act of 2009 that you're likely to pay a fine of 500,000 to 1 million shillings if you refuse to be counted. Hence the slogan, count me in. Najitokeza kuhesabiwa.
The 2009 Census Act has been amended. There is the 2019 Statistics Act that was signed by the President last month.
Interesting.
The fine in the last act was 100,000 and 6 months in jail. The new act goes 500,000 and 100,000. 500,000 and 1 year in 1 year 12 months in jail.
12 months in jail.
Yeah, so this falls upon the Civil Act about what are your civic responsibilities as citizens of the Republic. So the act goes on to clarify that if you give out false information deliberately, if you hinder the work of the census people deliberately, you are bound to face criminal charges against you.
Interesting.
Census is a very important thing, of course, and of course we have a civic responsibility to participate and to participate in a good way. But this government has a problem, and by the way, I still blame handshake. Since we got this handshake, it is threatening its citizens. Of course, we know we have a responsibility. This is not the first census to be conducted.
Yes.
We have conducted several. And by the way, Kenyan citizens have volunteered in giving information, and we have never had problems. But
there's an interesting article on the People's Daily. I think it's page 4 or 5 about census, that since 1989, census has been marred by irregularities. I think it's page 4, yeah.
But was it the problem of the citizens? It was the problem of the government.
Allow me to say one thing,
conducting the process.
If you look at this headline that says utaenda jela ukikataa census, I don't know why they are scaring Kenyans in the first place, you know. Me, I just want to appeal to my fellow Kenyans. You know, let us be patriotic. Let us love our country. You know, because at the end of the day, this census is in our interest. In the planning, as an economist, I will tell you, census, the population, the demographic structure is very important in terms of planning. And another thing, I want to appeal to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Please, we want accuracy in the conducting the process, and ultimately accuracy in the release of the
results. And Faisal, I have to comment. No, I have. You have to allow me.
I'm going to allow one last comment. We're going to look at these stories
in
depth. We'll look at it.
If I to ask,
as Rahma Swale always says, you know, my colleague Rahma Swale is dum koko na lika maua.
If I were to ask, if you look several programs the government has been running, we started with Huduma number. they were threatening Kenyans. Every time they were threatening Kenyans when they were talking about this issue. And by the way, it is not only about even programs, even laws. They imposed 8% law. They twisted parliamentarians.
You can't allow such talk to go on because few days ago we had in the headlines Kenya was ranked about the top ranking nation in the rule of the jungle. Yeah, and now there is a law that is embedded in the constitution and a part of our laws. So you can't allow Bwana Kuria to keep on saying the government is we have to allow the rules of the law and we have to allow for them. Let us be patient.
I'm not saying laws not to be followed.
Karibu, welcome, Karibuni. Guys, we need to go for a break, but before that, we just need to finish. We'll look at these stories in depth, guys. Relax, eh? Ndomkoko dalika maua. Bila kitita hatoki ngo. That is, of course, Neymar making it a very amazing picture of Neymar. You know, and of course, last but not least, we're having the Business Daily. Banks rake in 85 billion shillings profit in 6 months. And of course, the back page, you have how mobile infrastructure sharing can win for customer. Of course, those are the headlines making it to the dailies this morning. As you've seen, amazing panelists this morning taking it heads on with political stories and among many other stories making it to the headlines. Don't go away because we're going to come back after this very short break to look at these stories in depth. Census, dynasties, you know, tax evaders and all that. Don't you go away. All this after this very short break.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
a house wherein Surah Al-Baqarah is recited, لا يدخله الشيطان. Shaitan will never enter that house. So if you recite Surah Al-Baqarah in a house, in your home, you are protecting yourself from Satan, from Shaitan.
كتاب الله دستوري.
On the next episode,
I love to pray. I worship Allah. I love Allah.
I was more happier when I followed the Prophet's Sunnah. Allah had my back when no one did, so I pleased Him by trying to resist what He forbade.
We all love Allah. He gave us the sun and the moon and the stars. Pray Salah, pray 5 times a day. These are the pillars of Islam. Pray 5 times a day. Betty Butter bought some butter, but the butter was bitter.
on the next episode.
Baadhi yetu kwenda kule haji, ama mtu anaenda haji, wakati ule badala ya kunyanyua mikono kumlilia Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, baadhi yetu tuko katika story za ball, story za siasa, story za nchi zetu, story za comedy. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Ama wengine wanaenda na simu pale, yuko katika Arafa ni maselfie anapiga akitumia watu katika nchi zao. Wallahi ni mafadhaiko makubwa, ni masikitiko makubwa. Watu wanakuja wanafanya baadhi ya vituko ambazo kwamba si nzuri. Mtu anakuja katika uwanja wa Eid na t-shirt kina picha la Kidube, picha ya Bob Marley. Watu wanakuja kumtukuza Allah, wao wanakuja na miji picha ya Bob Marley, picha ya Cristiano.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
You'll kill me with this surprises out of these fine days. Anyway, thank you so much, Suleiman of Tumbo, for the countdown. Now, guys, we were just looking at the headlines of what was making it to the headline, what was making it to the dailies this morning. And yes, the Star, page 2. The headline continues, where tax war triggers uproar in Uhuru's staff. And people from Mount Kenya region, and you're saying the billionaires, they fund election. Of course, I don't know how true that is. I don't know whether they have evidence to back that they've been funding elections. But basically, they feel targeted, that this war on tax evasion, it's all a PR gimmick targeting the people from the Mount Kenya region. Because, I mean, if you've seen in 1 week, it's only business people from the area that have been arrested.
But Faisal, it's not about targeting people. And, you know, we have to do due justice to our tax structure, because it comes into play with our development issue. Yeah. And so I want to say this. Allow me to belabor and reiterate on this, that it doesn't matter if you're how big your entrepreneurial story is, or how many people you've employed, or if you're a small entrepreneur or a big entrepreneur. If you are indicted on tax evasion, you are supposed, under the Kenyan constitution, to answer to the charges. If you are found guilty, well and good. If you are found not guilty, well and good.
Muduri is apparently nodding in denial.
Yeah, because we have to dispel what my fellow learned friends might mislead the public in this. When they say when you are indicted in a tax crime,
yes,
that there is no tax law that indicates you can be indicted in a tax crime. Tax evasion is not a criminal act. When you in the tax act, when you evade, when you file in your returns.
Yes.
After you file in your returns, KRA will go through what you have filed in against what they have in their records. Absolutely. If they find there is a mismatch in that, they write to you. Then there are audits that sent to your firm from KRA and internal audits to check out. There's the same thing. Let me finish, Faisal. This is the same thing that happened with Keroche. The lady, what is leading to this has been almost a 2-year case court, because the lady went up to the Court of Appeal and she won against the KRA indicting her on this thing. The point of the DPP and the CID coming to it, there is the tax collection tribunal that strives to solve these problems with these big multinationals. Even Safaricom has found itself in that thing.
So someone has been sleeping on the job.
Of course, there is a very big problem in KRA. When Keegan says we have to allow the structure of KRA to work, there is no structure in KRA.
Structure of the DCI.
To finish on that, Faisal, you can't have someone evading 41 billion in tax and the head of KRA, even the head of state doesn't know that. You can't have someone not paying 41 billion in taxes and the head of state has
no idea.
Has no idea.
First of all, to support my friend Mutweri, he usually says that
this for the first time.
Yes. These figures are outrageous.
Yes.
When you talk about 41 billion in period of 5 years, that means Humphrey Morioki was not paying 8 billion per year. He was not remitting in taxes 8 billion. Those figures are outrageous, and by that they can only be reported in a failed state. And to go back to my point, I'm saying this government is rushing. Of course, there's some changes in KRA, the current Mburu, and still we have changes in DPP. We have changes. Those people, of course, they have been seen fighting corruption and even tax evasion. And by the way, they have gone full throttle. But it is as if this government is rushing because of the mistake they did. Because if you trace these problems, they started in 2014.
Yeah.
So some people were sleeping in the job, and we have not experienced change of government. The government that was between 2012 and 2013, and now is the same government that is ruling. So they are rushing against time. Maybe by then they are not caring, or because of the way country was polarized, there was opposition and there was a government. Some people maybe were being protected maybe by the side of the opposition or by the side of the government. You know those battles, now the government, now these people cannot find people to protect them. That is why maybe government is able to go after them. But I believe this is wrong, and by the way, some people should be hanged for this. Because we cannot talk of 41 billion in period of 5 years.
5 years.
The figures are obvious.
A couple of companies.
Njiriani has a case to answer.
The crackdown should be on the crackdown should be on the part of KRA because of their employees that led to that. We can't always blame this thing on the citizenry. If the farm of Karaoke and the lady from Keroche closes shop, we are going to lose. Yeah, we are going to lose more than the 41 and 14 billion we are going to gain. The jobs that will be lost, the economic spur that will be lost in that.
There's an interesting story on page 4 and 5 of the Star. Pregnant schoolgirls must give names of their boyfriends, rapists. All rapists. That is C.S. Magoha.
Let me start by the boyfriend's part. You know, they say in Swahili that mimba si homa, utasema ati ujui ulitoa wapi. You know, two people came together. That's why the pregnancy is there. And what has been happening in the past years is that you find the blame mostly rests on the girl because she carries the pregnancy, and you know the boy is sort of goes scot-free most of the times. So it is a very good move. I have to commend C.S. Magoha for that. That this issue is coming up, and now the boy child also who participated in coming up with the pregnancy will be brought up to will be also taken along with the wave of the issue. And speaking about the rapist part, most of the rapists have been going scot-free because of the stigmatization that the girls who are defiled they face, and that they should be dealt with relentlessly, and above all things, what CS Magoha should institute in our schools and in partnership with the Ministry of Health down to the dispensaries is we should have community counselors, because you know rapists, you know, rape has more of psychological torture than physical torture.
Interesting enough is that there was some debate sometimes back about whether these girls should be admitted to schools or not. And the article says that a pregnant schoolgirl will no longer be expelled as a sinful behavior. However, she will be compelled to reveal the identity of the boy or man who made her pregnant, either with her consent or through rape. In a new national policy proposal seen by the Star, school bosses will be required to unconditionally readmit the girls within 6 months after giving birth at the beginning of the new school calendar.
Just that, Faisal. We are having even, C.S. Magoha has also said that the students or people who are HIV positive, you know, sometimes some schools have been sidelining them. That, you know, your medical condition does not put you aside, does not rule out your right to education, you know, and people make mistakes, and even some are raped, you know, the sex was not in their consent, and they should go back to school, because in 2019, if you don't have education, trust me, things are bad.
What I think I can add to that is we should have a policy framework on how that will work. The girls will be back integrated into their schools, but the same thing, they'll carry the burden. They are teenage mothers. They are in an environment amongst other teenagers, but with babies. So the afterthought of taking care of them and integrating them back, will we treat them as teenagers as they are? Will we treat them as young teenagers, mothers? And what will happen to the child that the young mother had to them? That kind of a thing, that the upbringing that we'll be having in our young generation that's coming, we should lack, because these are the babies that will be the next.
Of course, I'm sure the very able professor has that sorted out. And then another story, last story maybe that we'll be looking at this morning on the Star. Council of Governors to appeal against ruling barring the accused from office. This is, of course, coming after the Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu and the Samburu counterpart, Moses Lenol Kulal can't perform duties as they are wanted out of their workplace. This comes after the judgment from Justice Ngugi Mumbi of the High Court to bar them from office. Kuria, what do you think about that?
I think the Council of Governors will not be acting in interest of the public. They be doing that in the interest of themselves. And I believe the status quo should remain. What Mumbigo said should remain.
So you think they should not access office?
Yes, you should not soil a place, then continue working in the same place.
Interesting.
You should not misuse your office.
In the spirit of silent innocence until proven guilty. Muturi.
I think
very fast.
A few weeks ago I tried to explain this as I understood it in the Constitution. There is a difference between appointed members of the government and elected members of the state. There is a very big difference in that. The appointees, let's say, give me the example of cabinet secretaries. They draw their powers from the president.
Because they are appointed.
Because they are appointed.
Okay.
Who draws the power to appoint them? By being elected from the people. Because the Constitution says that the power belongs to the people, but will be exercised through their elected leaders. When it comes to appointed members, the appointing authority has the authority to dismiss them, and the court has the authority to, because they don't hold the direct power from where they draw it. Yes, let me make my point. When it comes to elected members, especially the governors, there is a outlined mechanism of how elected members of government can be removed from office. And the only way to remove a governor from office, the governor draws his authority from the people by being elected.
As you're making your remarks, where's the integrity part comes in?
Let me finish it up, because you have to protect me in that.
please, because of time.
The court has no jurisdiction to overrule the will of the people. The only thing that the people of Kiambu can do, if they don't want Governor Waititu anymore,
is to impeach him.
They will go to their MCAs. They will impeach him and direct the MCAs to withdraw the powers from him, because he draws the powers from the people, not from the court.
Number one, let it be known that it is the constitutional right of every Kenyan to appeal. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, it is. You have the right to, when you are not satisfied with the court's decision, to appeal at a higher court. We have one problem. The governors, if you look at why the governors are championing for this, are advocating for this, is because of one thing. Economic crimes in Kenya, they derail for a long time. Goldenberg went to even more than 10 years. So let us to say today that a governor, can't access his office and is out of work because of a case in court, and the case takes 5 years. So does the governor doesn't work? I think the elephant in the room is one thing. We should shorten how we do the cases, the timeline for the cases. And another thing, we should not forget when we are having the conversation around interference with investigations by them being in power, we should not forget the conversation around witch hunt.
Interesting.
And there's something called political responsibilities.
That we'll get to that. Last but not least, just want to get your comment on this about sensors. We briefly touched on sensors. Security of our data. What do you think about it? Because Kenya's concerns have been about the security of our data. Is it secure enough? Because we had the grapevine that someone apparently hacked into the Huduma number system and deleted some accounts. What about the security of our data? Kuria, very quickly.
The buck stops with the government. The government should ensure the security of the data collected. And I believe from what they are telling us, they are well prepared to ensure the security of the data. And we are not, as I have said, we are not conducting this process for the first time. We are not a new country. Of course, we have conducted these things several times. So we will improve with time. And I believe this time round we want to achieve the best.
I think with the security of the data,
our data is not because the government has promised us, including the CS, ITCS, Joe Musheru yesterday in a presser, the joint presser within the 3 CSs, that he assured Kenyans that no one will be able to access the data, and we're looking at an article how corporates are likely to benefit from the data. Very quickly, Muturi, before you go on a break.
Yes, of course. Our data will not be sold to our adversaries, Uganda or Tanzania, and be told, but Faisal holds 50 camels and 100 cows so that the people in Uganda will come and invade you. The privacy that comes with this data is how will politicians use it in their own benefit? How will
kill it at that. Another story that we'll be making at page 23, we'll be looking at it after this very short break, is about an entertainer, someone from the entertainment industry who is interested in a political seat. This is very interesting because we already have an entertainer in the parliament, in the August House. Of course, I don't know whether he drew the inspiration from maybe from our neighboring Tanzania, where we have one of the entertainers who is also a member of parliament, and Uganda, someone who is leading right now a revolution in the country, is coming from the entertainment industry. What does it say about the caliber of our leaders that we want to select? Of course, and of course, a very interesting conversation about the Kibra by-election, where we're expecting a way forward today from the ODM party leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, who's jetting in from Indonesia. I think he's already back. He came in last night, yeah? So expected to chair a meeting of the National Executive Committee today and give a direction about which way ODM will go on its Kibra polls. All this and more after the break. Please don't you go away.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
a house wherein Surah Al-Baqarah is recited, لا يدخله الشيطان. Shaitan will never enter that house. So if you recite Surah Al-Baqarah in a house, in your home, you are protecting yourself from Satan, from Shaitan.
كتاب الله دستوري
on the next episode,
I love to pray. I worship Allah. I love Allah.
I was more happier when I followed the Prophet's Sunnah. Allah had my back when no one did, so I pleased Him by trying to resist what He forbade.
We all love Allah. He gave us the sun and the moon and the stars. Pray Salah, pray 5 times a day. These are the pillars of Islam. Pray 5 times a day. Betty Butter bought some butter, but the butter was bitter.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for keeping it there, and thanks so much to Sam Jamal. We are on the last segment of our newspaper review this morning, but we have a morning discussion, of course, on the round table about stigma associated with divorce. But before the break, we were talking about the Kibra by-election, where Raila is expected to Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, engineer Baba, is expected to give a direction today from the ODM party on which way exactly they'll be going. And we are looking at the entertainer on page 23 of the People's Daily who wants to clinch the seat, Chris Darling, Chris Odhiambo. Kuria.
For me, the ODM should hold primaries because, of course, we have heard so many people are interested in the seat. And, of course, ODM that is ODM's stronghold. So we expect ODM to hold primaries. And in the past, ODM has micromanaged elections or micromanaged selection of candidates.
So it's not election, it's selection basically.
Yes.
So,
there has been complaints.
But before we go on to that, what do you tell of the caliber of leaders that we are likely to have or expected to have right now? Because you have the likes of Honorable Charles Njagua from...
Of course, I have heard that there is an entertainer who is vying, but we should also know that not every entertainer can become a good politician. If you look at Bobby Wine from Uganda, Bobby Wine, if you look at his songs were addressing political issues, societal issues. So he was someone who was aware of what was happening in society.
But
you don't expect
the caliber.
Yes, you don't.
Are we comfortable with that caliber of people making it into a leadership space?
It will depend with the personality. Of course, there are some people, of course, who sing maybe you don't expect Omlambes to.
But my point is, entertainment. We all know about the entertainment, the way it's marred
because
by immorality.
I wanted to talk about Chagwa.
Allow me to say this, Faisal.
Okay.
We have this thing, you know, I don't know, you've said that are people comfortable having this kind of caliber of leaders? I want to say this. Chris Darling.
Yes.
He's a citizen of Kenya.
Yes, he is.
He is from Kibra.
Yes.
Born and brought up in Kibra. He has every right to contest for the seat, whether he's an entertainer or he's an imam or he's whatever. He has his constitutional right of doing that. Yeah. And I want to say this. At the end of the day, it rests with the people of Kibra. You know,
to select.
I am not from Kibra, and I don't have any authority to decide for the people of Kibra, because they know Chris Darling very well, and other people, other candidates who've been in Kibra, you know, and it is upon them to decide whom they want.
But to answer your question, Faisal, the question was that kind of calibers, the caliber of leaders that we are putting in the national.
And touch on ODM selection that Kuria said.
Okay. To say on that, as Bana Kuria said, I think I'll also agree on that. Not because you are a very good student at KCSE, you get an A+. Doesn't mean we will take you to the teachers' college and make you a lecturer there and tell you to teach those people. You have to go to school and learn how to do that.
Yes.
Just because you are a big name, a celebrity in the Republic of Kenya, doesn't mean you will make a very good politician in that. At the end of the day, we have seen what happened with Moha Jichopevu. He was a very, very perfect journalist in the kind of work he used
constitutional right.
Faisal, you should protect me from that.
I'm protecting you for that. So I'm protecting you from that. So let's talk about
I'll go to that
election and selection quite
fast.
Moha
Jichopevu, when he went to parliament, he sided with the likes of the people that are stealing billions in this country.
That's his right.
No, we have to defend.
And he's not here to speak for himself. So that's why I'm saying that's his right.
No problem.
Talk about election and selection.
Before I get rudely interrupted again.
That's what I'm asking you, because
in 2017, there was the flotation of the idea that Rosemary Odinga should vie for the Kibra MP seat, and I think there's the time to upgrade that idea again. She was upheld from holding the ODM nomination because Ken Okoth had a very good track record in that, and he was still alive by then. Right now, may his soul rest in peace.
Yes.
Ken Okoth is no longer there.
Yes.
That Rosemary Odinga.
I think Motweri is obsessed with political families. I not even use dynasties because he is somehow offended by the word dynasty.
Okay.
He is obsessed with political families.
Okay.
As Keegan has, I want to buttress the Keegan point. These people are supposed to be given a chance to select whom they want.
Okay.
When I was commenting about the issue of saying how they will perform, it depends with the personality.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that because you are good musicians, you may automatically become a good politician, or you are a celebrity, you may automatically become a good politician or a good leader. I was saying, of course, they have to be given a chance because they know themselves better.
It's their democratic right.
Better. It is their democratic right.
Thank you.
Then after that, we know what the kind of people they'll give us. Because of course we also have interest in.
So it's supposed to be. You're saying ODM should nominate.
Conduct primaries.
And
conduct primaries.
Go for primaries.
Yes.
Because we're looking at a very short span. They're supposed, if you have to do primaries, you're supposed to submit the names of your candidate to the IBC before 3rd of September.
That was what I'm talking about.
Faisal, allow me to say this. The president yesterday said that leadership is the desire to serve, the desire to do good and make a difference in the lives of people. It should not be a concern that Chris Darling is an entertainer or he's whatever that he is. The thing is this. Sometimes we have leaders who are very decorated, learned, what in various different fields. But what really rests for leadership is the desire to serve. You can be accolades and whatever you may have very accomplished, but you don't have the desire to serve.
Faisal, to comment on what
summarizing.
Yes, what Kigan is saying about what Uhuru said about the handshake and the hustlers. That point of, I think that's the biggest misconception that we are holding up. Of course, you need to have the desire to serve the public, but that regardless of that, your background must come up one time or the other. I'm sure even you, Faisal, I'm sure of this. You have to.
We can't deny people. We can't deny people their constitutional right.
You have to protect me from Kigen.
Sorry,
to make my point.
I'm sorry.
To make this point,
summarize on your point.
To summarize on my point.
Yes,
when the president said that it's not about the dynasty, when he was campaigning, the name of his father was evoked time and time again. The name of Raila Omolo Odinga's father was evoked time and time again.
So something that you cannot divorce them from.
Of course, you have to be. I'm sure, Faisal, even when you are being given this job, someone somewhere asked you, where do you come from? Who is your father? Who is your mother? Who is that? That's the kind. And in politics, in politics, that will forever come up, because as we are Africans, and this is Africa, and we hold our roots.
Moving on.
The name of your father has to be involved in everything that you do.
I think it's fair enough to wait until the ODM give a direction on this, because we had Honorable Sakaja saying that he'll talk to the president.
Does not have the capacity to hold the primaries, as you said. They
still can't hold the primaries within next week.
It seems they have deliberately delayed to select their candidate, so because they want to sneak Rosemary.
ODM Judy Pereno communicated that everyone who is interested today, being the 23rd, is the deadline for everyone who is interested to file in, to declare interest in the seat. And then the IBC's timeline was for everyone who is a candidate to submit their certificate by 3rd. So I think they still have around 10 days, to do the primaries and make the nomination and everything.
Yes.
You have the Standard. What's making it to page 3? There's a story on page 3, quite a very interesting story on page 3 on the Standard.
Maraga, this protest over graft.
In Mombasa, it happened yesterday during the judges' conference. People, protesters, up with placards, protesting against corrupt judges who are protecting drug barons. What's your take on that?
It is very unfortunate, because if the people who are mandated to give us justice can't give us justice, or they are being compromised, and that has been the case. By the way, we are even being reported elsewhere that Kenya is a sea of corruption, and particularly the judiciary is a sea of corruption.
Funny enough is that Maraga accepted, saying that it might be true, or it is true, but there's nothing he can do about that, because he doesn't have any evidence.
Let me finish. And by the way, you have to understand how this country has been run since independence. Maraga, might be even beyond Maraga. And by the way, it even happened with Mutunga. Because the people, these cartels are very strong. And some of them are even alleged to have been taken part in financing.
Do you mean it's a systematic downfall?
Yes, of course. Maraga is confused, because of course you cannot even rule out that he receives instructions from elsewhere. And by that you know very well that
I think we're just claiming. We don't have evidence for that.
Yes, we don't have evidence for that.
We can't put unwarranted information.
You can't.
No, I'm not misleading the nation, but investigative. I'm talking from investigative part. There's there have been information that judiciary is not independent.
Does that mean that you have substantial evidence to prove that?
Of course. If I were to given a chance, I'd prove that it is
not. Allow me to say this. First of all, you must be a rock if you weren't touched by the events of yesterday's. I mean, these were mothers protesting in the streets that their kids, are
lost in drugs.
And
the judiciary is protecting the
and this is what I want to say, that Maraga agreed that it is true that there is corruption in the judiciary, and the corruption is sort of structural, and I think we'll need more than just words to settle that.
Okay.
And I want to tell Keegan, the buck stops with the president. The
No,
buck stops
no,
with
the buck does
national
not
government.
stop. No, stop misleading the nation.
No, I'm not misleading the nation.
The president.
I think
no.
Mutwiri has this obsession of protecting the state.
I'm not protecting. I'm
and
don't
has this
mislead
obsession.
the nation. No, but Faisal, I have to dispel that the buck stops with the president.
Yeah.
There is the notion of separation of powers. The president holds the presidency in the executive arm of the government, which is completely separate from the executive arm, from the judiciary arm of the government. So the buck does not stop with the president. The buck stops with the president of the judiciary,
which is Maraga. And he said he can't do anything about it because he doesn't have evidence of that. And Kuria has.
Yes.
The DCI office is open. The DCI office is open.
The DCI.
But
yes.
Okay, guys, we need to move on quite fast. The DCI office is open. Mutiri, would you mind just checking on page 4 of the Daily Nation? There's another interesting story again. Waiguru.
Waiguru impertinent over Raila presidency talks as storm rages.
Yes, he said that the Central is now ready for Raila's presidency.
And she got a backlash.
Yes, and she's unapologetically defending herself.
Of course, Waiguru has been sent to say that.
By?
She's a spanner boy of the dynasties. And by the way, you know very well who has sent Waiguru. But you don't need to have a PhD.
Who?
Of course,
you have to. You don't mislead the nation. If you have something to just give out the full information, stop speaking in parables. As you said, you have that.
Allow me to chime in on this. Allow me to chime in on this. Okay, we have this issue. You know, Waiguru has Waiguru's constitutional right to support whoever she wills.
Exactly.
And again, I have to appeal to my fellow Kenyans that it doesn't have to flow. Politics doesn't have to flow with tribes. The politics of tribes is a politics of backwardness.
You know, Keegan, of course, there is what we call reality. And Keegan wants us to just assume that things must happen the way they are happening because they are not. We don't have people who are pulling from somewhere. Me, I'm just saying as a political scientist, because I did a bit of political communication.
Yes.
I know very well there are some people who had sent Waiguru. And if you look at this BBI thing, Waiguru has been leading a group of women who have been campaigning
Team Embrace.
Yes, Team Embrace, which have been traversing across the country campaigning for the BBI thing.
Interesting.
Now, I was not surprised when I heard that, had her saying that now Raila Odinga can be allowed to be head of state.
Wow. Okay.
So you know,
was he admitting?
Let
me ask you: Was she admitting? Government has been, the people who are in power has been denying Raila Odinga getting into government.
You know,
I feel. Was he trying to say that Raila Odinga has been winning elections and they have denying him winning? What was she saying?
A few minutes ago, you said it's a democratic right of the people of Kibra to elect whoever they want.
Absolutely.
That's your opinion with that. But you can't come and say and contradict. It's not the constitutional right of Waiguru to support whoever she wants, and still it's a right to position herself wherever she wants to position herself politically, for a political gain, for a political movement, for whatever.
You have misquoted. Me, I'm not saying it is a right to say what she wants to say. But you must also understand. I was trying to explain why she said what she said. I'm not saying that it is not it is a right. And it is okay.
As you're putting on your parting shot, your last word.
Of course, I was just saying the level in politics should be the political ground should be made level.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
No dynasties, no political families, no nothing. Thank you. Thanks so much for that. Keegan, in 10 seconds, your parting shot, please.
I want to appeal to my fellow Kenyans.
Yes.
Let us be patriotic and let us make sure there is efficiency in the census process.
Interesting.
You have to know your roots to identify who you are. And that leads to the name of your father and your grandfather being evoked for you to be a political leader in this country. I think that's my parting shot.
Interesting. And we have the story making the headline today on Friday Bulletin. Sorry, we didn't have it on time. We could have discussed it. Muslim leaders hand in report to the BBI. It's something that it's a discussion we had here last week, yeah, on the criteria that people use for you to be selected to make a report to the BBI. So Muslim leaders hand a report to BBI called for Qadhi Appeals Court. This is something that Muslim leaders feel, and you can see there from the picture we have NAMLEF leader, we have CIPK Nairobi chair leader, amongst other leaders who handed in the report to the BBI, who had their Nairobi segment a couple of days back. And gentlemen, thank you so much. Asante sana. I mean, this could not have been amazing without you guys. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Kigen,
thank you very much.
Asante sana. Said Kuria, the undisputed OG. OS, organizing secretary. De facto leader. May I have my microphone, tafadhali? And I'm sorry, gentlemen, today I'm not working out of the set because I'm welcoming my other guests in the set. Kovo, asanteni sana. Kuria, we're still with you in the second part. Sio? Lakim, karibu sana. Said Kuria, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Am I seeing you next week as well?
Inshallah, God willing.
Sorry?
Inshallah.
Thank you. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Today I'm not seeing you off the set. Bro, asante sana Musa Munene. Today I'm not seeing you off the set. So meet aga tu bye kwanzia hapa.
Tunashukuru, thank you very much, and it's been nice. I think we should have a handshake like I was told last time. People think we fight after we leave here and we are not friends.
No, we are all friends who are good back around.
My friend has to share something. He's getting from the
diagnosis.
You have to share it. You have to share his evidence.
We are not having this discussion now.
You have to share your
evidence. Thank you so much,
guys.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm welcoming my guest now for the second part of the segment, for the second part of the show. Daktari. Assalamu alaikum. Karibu sana. Here's my Karibu sana, Daktari. Assalamu alaikum. You are watching the show from maybe Karibu Smama, but just stand close to me. Ustad, Karibu. Kum salam wa rahmatullah. Ustad, how are you? Salama. Karibu sana. Karibu. Yes. Daktari, you are watching the show from behind. How was it?
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting, yeah?
It was interesting and a bit, what do I say now?
It was quite heated, yeah?
Yeah, quite heated.
Yes, so today we'll be talking about stigma related to divorce. What's your general feeling about the topic?
I think it's going to be quite of a mixed reaction.
Yeah.
Again, depending on what sorts of lines that you are going to pick up. But I am thinking that it can contribute to the society in terms of perceptions.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. If you can hand over the mic to the CIPK Nairobi chair, Sheikh Salim Chair, a very youthful leader. Assalamu alaikum. We are so glad to have you here this morning.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for making time. So what's your general feeling about the topic?
I think the general Ummah needs to learn about talaq afresh.
And the roles included, do you have amazing information prepared for us?
Inshallah.
Thank you so much. Blakim Kigen, you mind taking us on a break using that camera? Absolutely. The Jeep camera, just take us. Tell our viewers that we're going on a very short break and we'll be back.
So to our beloved viewers,
yes,
we are having a very informative discussion after the session.
Yes.
So please, don't move.
Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.